first thing is who in here can relate to struggling to connecting with God? Okay. You're not alone. Okay? We have a group of pastors, and I think every one of our hands went up. And you're not alone with struggling. There's something that's happened in this world, right? We have sin in this world. We have brokenness. We have brokenness in our life. And at times there's a divide. There's this feeling of God not being right there. And so it's a very normal thing for us to feel that we don't have that connection with God. Also, in the midst of our horrible decisions that we make, sometimes we have separated ourselves from God. Very few people in the middle of their addiction are drawing close to God and doing good things and going down and helping people, right? We become all about us and our feelings and our needs and all self-centered, and we're not very altruistic and giving and doing the things that God asks for us to do. And so it's a very natural experience for us that when we're in addiction to not feel close to God, and as we come out, like, where is God? That's normal.
God is right there for you. And oftentimes when we say, I know in my life when I said I need to reconnect with God, at least for me, it's because I have rebelled against him. I have sinned against him. Even as a believer, as a child of God, okay, God, I'm going to go this way. And it's insane when I've done that. And I'm not saying that's what you've done, but if you have, then the scriptures are very clear that we can come back to him and know that he will absolutely receive us. Dr. B does a great class, a group on the prodigal son in Luke 15. In 1 John 1, 8 and 9, the Bible says, if we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves and the truth is not in us. This is written to Christians. But if we confess our sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sin and cleanse us or purify us from all unrighteousness. So that first part's basically saying, okay, look it, you blew it, you know it, God knew it, knows it, so let's just get real with one another. You confess it, you can be sure God's going to forgive you. And then you are, just like when you used to have to say you're sorry to your mom or to your dad, you guys are cool again. You're tight. You're okay. Right? 1 John 1, 8 and 9.
And you bring up a spiritual reality, is that the whole life of faith is a struggle. And the Bible tells us over and over and over and over again. I'll just read a couple of scriptures. It's first one is in Ephesians 6, 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against spiritual forces of evil in heavenly realms. And their primary purpose is to rip you away from your relationship with God. And Paul alludes to this battle very poetically, I feel, in 2 Corinthians 10th chapter. He says, let me try to find it real quick. He says, for though we live in the world, we don't wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds, and we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. So not only is this spiritual battle keeping you away from your relationship with God, this spiritual battle is trying to mess up your thoughts about God. And Paul is showing us that we're in a battle and we need to fight, and we need to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. Like the message today was about how our ignorance and arrogance gets us lost, and especially in spiritual and, of course, recovery pursuits. But with truth, there's a weapon. So I take God's truth. If I feel lost from God, God still loves me. Just because I don't feel his love doesn't mean he loves me less. Like right now, my wife, I don't know what she's doing, but I know she loves me, and she knows no matter what stupid stuff I'm doing, she knows that I love her. Just because I don't feel her presence right now, so to speak, doesn't negate the fact of our relationship, doesn't negate the fact that she would die for me and I would die for her. The relationship is real because it's based on truth, not emotions. See, a spiritual relationship is based on truth, not emotions. A true emotional, a true meaningful relationship is based on truth, not emotions.
You just watched our weekly question and response time at Road to Freedom. Road to Freedom is our residential Christian treatment program. We have a panel every week who responds to any questions the patients ask. And so we have a medical doctor, a licensed therapist, and a team of pastors who take questions from the audience, and we respond to everything and anything the patients ask. If you're interested in more information about a Christian-based drug and alcohol treatment program, please give us a call.